As 2025 is just beginning, I think it's valuable to look at where we've been the past year. 2024 was a roller coaster year for the Pokemon market. We saw some enormous moves in singles and sealed products, including some products that really caught many by surprise. Whether you were around for all of 2024 or are brand new to the Pokemon hobby, whether you're a collector or an investor, there's something for you in this video. So stay tuned because today is part 1 of my 2024 Pokemon Market Recap. January started the year off with the release of a set I think became far more popular than anyone could have imagined. Paldean Fates released January 26, 2024, and was the first shiny set with alt arts ever, or SIRs as they are called in the Scarlet and Violet era. Charizard EX was the top chase upon and after release, and seems to be an improved and more colorful version of the terrestrialized Charizard EX SIR we got in Obsidian Flames. Shiny Mew EX, affectionately called Bubble Mew, was an instant chase for a lot of people. 2 weeks after release, Charizard EX was $155, Bubble Mew $90, Gardevoir $51, and Iono $47. The set was well liked at the time of release, but by April, Paldean Fates was no longer the latest shiny thing. Get it? And the sealed products and singles had all fallen. Paldean Fates seemed to be bottoming out around May and then continue sideways through the summer. Then out of nowhere, everything started climbing in October. The chase cards of Bubble Mew, Charizard EX, Gardevoir, and Baby Shiny Pikachu all climbing along with the ETB and the booster bundle. By the end of the year, Bubble Mew was up over 3.5 times its low. Charizard EX up 60% from its low. Gardevoir up almost 100% from its low. Booster bundles up 92% from the low, and ETB's up 100% from its low. Incredible growth for this set in less than a year. Overall, this set has had massive gains this year, unnaturally massive gains in such a short time, which I think speaks to the strength of the Pokemon bull market we have entered into. I would not be surprised if we see reprints for Paldean Fates in the future due to its strong price increase in such a short period of time. Pokemon usually has a habit of reprinting sets that behave this way. I think that there are a couple key takeaways that we can learn from Paldean Fates. Number 1, if you are willing to buy chase cards and sealed products when the market has shifted their focus elsewhere, then huge gains are possible. If you had bought into Paldean Fates in April, May, or even the few months after, you would be massively up right now. Number 2, sometimes the top chase out of the gate isn't the long-term top chase. We'll have to see what the years ahead show us, but so far the number 2 card at release, Bubble Mew, has ousted Charizard quite handily. I think on release, most would have assumed Charizard would stay at the top. He's often considered the king after all. This is just another example of how singles are often more volatile than sealed and can be a little bit more speculative and hard to predict. February, a huge move in Sword and Shield booster boxes began. Those wondering if Sword and Shield booster boxes were too overprinted to ever do well as investments were about to get an answer to their question. Fusion Strike booster boxes go in and out of stock in early February before finally selling out on the Pokemon Center's website. This sends the box price skyrocketing from its MSRP price of $143.64 at Pokemon Center to $230 by late March. A huge and staggering move. Fusion Strike would spend much of the year plateauing out and out of the limelight before riding a lightning bolt up at the end of the year to over $420 a box. A staggering increase of almost 3x in a single year. The Sword and Shield booster box pump of 2024 was on, and Fusion Strike was just the beginning. For the next couple of months, Pokemon investors continued to buy up stock of late Sword and Shield boxes and place their bets on which set would go out of stock next on the Pokemon Center website. While a lot of attention was moving to the Trainer Gallery sets of the Sword and Shield era, an already gigantic box was making a gigantic new move, steadily rising day after day. Evolving Skies booster boxes started off 2024 at about $477 and by late March had run up to $685. Like the other Sword and Shield boxes, it would stagnate for summer months before going on a huge tear in the fall and winter, ending 2024 off at a enormous $1,000 box price, a move of over 100% in a single year. Absolutely insane growth for a box that had already seen such strong growth the past 2 years. Evolving Skies was further cementing its reputation as one of the greatest Pokemon sets in history. Amidst all the investor chatter about Sword and Shield boxes, the latest Scarlet and Violet set, Temporal Forces, was released. Despite a lot of trepidation for the set prior to its release when the design for Raging Bolt is revealed, the set does well, becoming quite popular for pack openers and rip-in ships. The pull rates were now a little harder, with it taking about 86 packs to pull an SIR. Between the popularity of the designs in the set and increased chase from the harder pull rates, fans opened a lot of Temporal Forces, and this set was popular among streamers. The Raging Bolt and the Iron Crown SIRs both did quite well in the secondary market. Temporal Forces boxes would stagnate most of the year as attention went to other sets and cards, but the TCG Player Black Friday sale at the end of the year would trigger a run on the box, and it would end the year at over $140. Astro Radiance came out of left field and sold out next in early April, or so we thought. This ended up being a false alarm as the Pokemon Center posted more boxes days later. Nonetheless, the box price immediately jumped up on other sites like TCG Player to just shy of $170, and by June, it hit $180 a box. The box would retrace over the next few months as the hype wore off, but would then gain all new highs in the fall, closing the year out at a whopping $194 a box, a 35% move from its MSRP at the beginning of the year. Investors didn't have to wait long to see the next Sword and Shield booster box sell out and make a move. April 25th, Lost Origin sells out on the Pokemon Center website, and an incredible move jumps up to $222 just 2 weeks later. While prices would drop below $200 again for a while, Lost Origin would ride another tidal wave at the end of the year and finish strong with a box price of $305, a move of over 100% in a year from its MSRP price, and even more than that if you had bought it off the secondary market early in the year. When Lost Origin sold out, the investment community went crazy, and it's no surprise the next Sword and Shield box would go out of stock just 5 days later. The last day of April, Brilliant Stars booster boxes finally go out of stock on the Pokemon Center website. By late May, this box would reach prices over $194 per box. They would go on to run again in the fall, finishing the year out at over $229 a box for a growth of almost 60% in a single year. Astro Radiance also finally sells out for good on the Pokemon Center website right around this time. The seismic increase in all of these boxes ends up generating enormous upward momentum in the alt-art single cards from these sets. The market realizes the Sword and Shield era is at an end, and these boxes selling out and rising in price causes collectors to begin to cope with the reality that they may never be able to rip these boxes again and chase these cards that they don't have in their set yet. FOMO sets in, and the single prices of all the top alt arts make enormous moves in a short time. March and April see the biggest growth for many of these cards, with prices topping out for many of them in May. As the prices of many alt arts skyrocket, many turn their attention to the Trainer Gallery cards as an alternative, and huge moves are made in these cards as well. Overall, the market's euphoria was too good to be true, and like other investment markets, after a sharp run up, an intense cooling off period is overdue. The alt arts and Trainer Gallery cards across the board corrected hard and gave up a lot of their gains, falling sometimes more than 30% from their highs. However, most of them settle at levels well above their old prices before the run, so it was still a net positive if you had bought before. For those who were savvy and bought during 2023 when alt arts were out of the limelight and then sold during the run, huge profits were possible. Like the boxes though, many of these cards would make another run at the end of the year, some ending at even higher prices. Notably, Umbreon VMAX would crush its previous highs and end the year at over $1,400 raw. Giratina V, Gengar VMAX, Blaziken VMAX would also end the year at new all-time highs, while other popular alt arts like Rayquaza VMAX, Leafeon VMAX, Dragonite V, and Lugia V would all gain most of their ground back, approaching their all-time highs again. May 24th, Twilight Masquerade releases. The sentiment before this set released was skeptical, to say the least. Many investors were convinced it would be a weak set due to the focus on the mask Ogerpons. The set had 4 Ogerpon SIRs in a unique abstract style art that was divisive among fans. Yet the opposite reaction was seen on release. Twilight Masquerade had the strongest release so far on the year and would be the second highest booster box of the Scarlet and Violet era by the end of the year, second only to Surging Sparks. The Greninja SIR was incredibly popular and very hard to pull. Carmine SIR, Perrin SIR, and the Growlithe IR cards with the matching artwork. You had the Eevee IR. They'd all be big chases for collectors. Also, fun fact, in case you didn't know, if you ever look at that Eevee IR, there's actually 8 Eevees in the illustration to go with the 8 Eeveelutions that they would later evolve into.
First of all, very clever. Did you write that at home?
Just a cool little detail that Pokemon threw in there for us. But the Greninja SIR would end the year at $319, up over 100% from its pre-release price, which is amazing. The Eevee illustration rare would end the year at over $70, up 75% from its price shortly after release that it had settled at. The booster box would release hot at over $130, the highest price of any Scarlet and Violet box at release at that time. Surging Sparks would later come the next highest. The box would hit its bottom in May before making a continual aggressive run all year, ending at over $170 a box. Over 70% growth from its low and 30% growth from its release price. To be fair, there was lots of talk of this set being short printed, so that coupled with the unexpected popularity of the Greninja created very strong growth in this set in a short period of time. Carmine and Perrin would both end the year down a large chunk from their highs, but still hold up as popular cards, and time will tell how popular they will stay. 2024 was truly a special and fascinating year for the Pokemon market. There was simply too much to cover in one video. In part 2, I will cover another set that caught everyone off guard and talk about the explosion in Pokemon's popularity that happened towards the end of the year. So if that sounds interesting to you and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can get notified when I drop new content. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below on what you thought of the first half of 2024. Did you think I missed anything in this video? If so, let me know. And thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to making part 2 for you guys. We'll see you later.